Hey, I'm going to get to it, but
You're
I
never
just
gonna
want
get
to
to it,
talk about
bro.
these things and to understand who's doing this and the ritualism of it.
Just make a fucking prediction, dude.
The Butler coach also won the championship over the Jesuit University 201 days from his birthday. And what was ironic about that championship, it is useful for seeing through
That's not
deception.
my question. Does it work?
Useful.
Does it work?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. So then it's part of your worldview that works. So the thing is like if it works, that's fundamental to your worldview. It's a pillar for your worldview.
You're misinterpreting.
What am
It's
I
not about my
misinterpreting?
worldview. It's about living in a world and making observations about how the people ruling over you are operating.
Mm-hmm.
It's about know your enemy.
That's a worldview. Yeah, this is your worldview. How you basically interpret the world is your view of the world. It's your world view. It's your interpretation of the world, right? It's how you interpret things. That's what a worldview is. I'm a Christian, for instance. I look through a prism of Christianity when I interpret the world. People who
I honestly don't think that you or
people who are atheists look through an interpretation, alternative interpretation for their worldview. It doesn't matter what you think. Like that's even if let's just say for a second you were right and I was a complete phony. It wouldn't have any bearing on whether or not your worldview was correct. So the thing is, it's like here I am. At least I'm charitable enough to not say to you, I don't believe you believe this. I haven't said that. That's what you're directing at me. I don't believe that you believe in Christianity, which is insane. But that aside, I will say this, it is part of your worldview. And so I'm asking for the justification foundation for this worldview that this actually works. You say we should start with the Bible, the Protestant Bible. And you say we should start with the Protestant Bible because it has 66 books. And based on that's where you're making the calculation. But you haven't made the justification for why we should start there versus other Bibles. You haven't actually justified that.
It is associated with the occult, just like this knowledge is occult. They pay tribute.
Almost everything's associated with the occult, dude.
Can I ask Zachary? I think I see the translation error, maybe. So it sounds like Zach works backwards. So like he's talking about the ruling class and utilizing and like you utilizing numbers to understand how this occult works or operates, so on and so forth. And you're finding pieces in these items that can resonate or ways to guide you through like where this kind of conspiracy stuff is operating. Am I somewhere in the zone there?
You're
I
right.
think
I'm
you work
reverse
backwards.
engineering
No.
what they're
No, that's
doing
not
to
correct.
create
Listen, I'll explain it again so that you understand.
What she said is correct.
Worldviews have to have a justification for them. Otherwise, they're made out of nothing. They're made out of sand. If I said, for instance, I don't know, that hobgoblins, invisible hobgoblins behind you right now were putting their invisible hand in your head and making your mouth open and close, right? And I said, that's how every human being on earth operates. This is now a worldview that I have, right? And I would need to justify that with something. I would need to give you something, either philosophical evidence or some type of tangible evidence for my starting position that these hobgoblins are actually doing this, that this is actually true, that this is actually happening. The same thing is I'm requiring the same thing from you when it comes to justification for why we should start with the 66 books of the Bible. You just making an appeal and saying because most people can recognize this doesn't mean it. That's not a justification. That doesn't justify anything.
Can you give me 2 minutes to explain something, and then you try and debunk or rebut
Go
what
ahead.
I'm saying?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so let's talk about the current president and also Kobe Bryant's death. And both of these things are going to come to the King James parallel, okay?
Okay.
In 2016, when Trump was running for office, LeBron James won the only finals for the Cavs on the real King James's birthday, June 19th. And by the way, the opponent lost with 89 points, like King James equals 89, like religion equals 89, like there's 89 chapters in the gospel, like number equals 89 when everything is numbered in the Bible, and numbers are very important to the Bible. Right after he won the finals, Trump had his convention in the Cleveland Cavaliers basketball stadium. And by the way, that's how we were predicting years in advance that Trump would come back as a split-term president like Cleveland at age 78 because Cleveland equals 78. That's another topic. But that year, Trump's rituals, remember when he had his convention in Cleveland, he came out to Queen, we are the champions. And he did that 88 days after the Queen's birthday, which was also the day Prince died that year. Prince had the song "I Would Die for You" with the number 4 and the letter U. U is the 21st letter. He died on 4/21, the Queen's birthday, which was, again, keep in mind, he had the song Black Donald Trump. He also died 201 days before the election. But to make sense of this, Queen is royalty, okay? 88 days after the Queen's birthday.
It's also a band.
Huh?
It's also a band.
Exactly. He came out to Queen, We Are the Champions, 88 days after
Yeah.
the Queen's birthday. When
And Queen is royalty. The Queen's also a card, but it's also a card.
A lot of King James Version Bibles are purple, just for the record.
Yeah, but it's also a card. What about the card? Tie the card in, the Queen card.
Hold on.
And there's a queen on a chessboard.
International
Dun, 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 dun,
chess.
dun, 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 dun.
They are playing chess.
So the queen on the chessboard is representing the Jesuits playing chess. The queen card is because they have such a great poker face. And they came out to their song Queen, right? And it said, "We are the champions." And on top of that, it signifies royalty. Tell me more.
Okay. So, again, 88 days from the Queen's birthday to Trump coming out to Queen, We Are the Champions, just for the record. Elizabeth equals 88, Trump 88, purple 88. You might recall that Bill and Hillary conceded in purple. You might recall that Jill left the White House this year in purple. Prince was Mr. Purple Rain. But Trump goes on to win the 58th presidential election. In Gematria, Freemasonry equals 58.
But a jack is also a prince in a card game.
Freemasonry, Rosicrucians, Secret Society, they all equate to 58.
Oh.
King James, the real King James, died at age 58. Biblical equates to 58. Okay, he had a Bible named after him. Holy Bible equates to 45. Trump went on to become number 45 in the 58th election. The King James Bible was published in 1611. King James was born in 1566, meaning it came out the year he turned 45. We were pointing this stuff out way in advance, why it looked like the whole thing was rigged for Trump. The royal family is Masonic. The first degree of Freemasonry is the apprentice. So I get it. Trump announced from the 58-story Trump Tower for the 58th election that he supposedly won, when I'm showing how all these things are completely rigged and predetermined. It's also why Oprah asked Trump in 88 if he'd want to be president someday. She was in the color purple. Oprah equals 58 the big way, where Oprah Winfrey's 58 the small way. Purple Rain equals 58. You referenced Iron Maiden. Just for the record, Jeff Young of Megadeth, former guitarist, he's a friend of this community. You can watch his radio show episode, which is still archived, from February of 20.
He believes this too?
Huh?
He believes this too?
He thinks it's undeniable, like most people in my community do, from what we've documented for over a decade. Yes, and you can listen to his broadcast where we warned Prince that he was going to be next in the obituaries, February of 2016. After that broadcast was right after Vanity, Prince's girlfriend, died the day of the 58th Grammys. By the way, Trump supposedly got 312 electoral college votes in this election, which was 58%.
Okay, your 2 minutes are up now, dude. I gave you your 2 minutes.
2 seconds.
You're just giving me unrelated facts.
5th, the day of the election this year, is the
It's
day
just
that
unrelated facts.
King James in history. Trump suffered this assassination
Okay.
hoax called.
I'm going to grant, so you had your 2 minutes. I'm going to grant that everything that you just said is factually true. Now make a prediction for me and give me specificity with the prediction right here live in front of thousands upon thousands of viewers. I'll give you, hang on, stop, bro. Calm down.
I'm answering your question.
Okay, I haven't asked it yet. I'm not done.
Okay.
So I just gave you your whole 2 minutes. Right now you have 5,000 live viewers on my side, just on my side alone. And then whatever's on Sarah the Tomatoes side, and then whatever I have on Rumble. So you probably have like 5,500 people plus watching you live right this second. Can you make a specific, not vague, not rambly, where you go, based on the duh with the duh, I think the duh made duh. I just want a specific prediction, date, this will happen here, and these are the people it's going to happen to. Go ahead.
So to answer the question, I've made a name for myself doing this research, and it's the reason I've been deleted and censored, making accurate forecasts. We nailed the last election, calling it 4 years in advance from understanding this knowledge. I was pretty much the only one on the internet explaining why Joe Biden would become number 46.
Are you going to make? You're not going to make
way,
a specific prediction, are you?
I'm going to get to it. Yeah.
Okay,
Again,
go ahead.
I'm just making the point that we have a long history of accurate forecasts and very specific predictions. Again, you cherry pick some things that I was wrong about in the opening year of my research.
Can you make the prediction now, please?
Yeah, I can. You don't speak like a Christian.
You just take forever, dude. And I don't have endless. I don't have endless patience. Just please, just make the prediction.
Andrew, anyone who has to debate with you has to be patient. I mean, you debate with a libertarian and you try to make the whole thing about brothers having sex with sisters.
Did that upset you? That I'm using logic? Does logic upset you?
You're not real strong in logic, Andrew.
Well, I've been logically destroying you all night. But go ahead. Oh yeah, the guy who came up with the vaccines, or that 72 doses, was 72 doses, didn't basically fact check anything, gave me unrelated facts, haven't given me a single justification for why I use the Bibles. Now back to the specific prediction. I'm not going to let you weasel out of it. Give me one.
Again.
Waiting for that specific prediction you're never going to give.
I'm showing you how we make predictions.
Yeah, I know. Can you give me one though?
I'm showing you how we make predictions.
Yeah, that's great. Can you give me one though?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm waiting.
I want to get through important points.
Yeah, I know. But can you just give me the prediction, please?
No, I want people to understand the importance.
I don't give a dude. Just give me the prediction. Just give me the prediction, dude.
You don't need to necessarily even be able to make predictions.
You're never going to make a specific prediction. Why don't you just admit you're never going to make one? Just admit. Just be like, I'm never going to make this specific prediction. I'm going to prattle a bunch, but I'm never going to actually make a specific prediction. That's my prediction. Not using numerology, just intuitive logic that you are never going to make a specific prediction on this program today. It's never going to happen because you're a fraud. But you, sir, can prove me wrong right now by doing it. But you're not gonna. You're not gonna. Go ahead.
But again, I want to lay down.
But I am going to smugly lean back and drink this beer while you don't do that.
Again, Donald Trump, the current president, you guys, look into the death of his ex-wife exactly 60 weeks into the first ever Jesuit Ignatian year, on the same day that he said he'd be running in the upcoming election, which was the 60th. By the way, Donald Trump equals 60. He buried his wife on the 201st day of the year. You can look into their wedding, which was in a massive 201 ritual, and their first child was born on the 201st day of his age. It's very similar to what happened to Beau Biden, who died 201 days before Pope Francis's birthday. And the man who did that
prediction. There's no prediction. No prediction. Waiting for that prediction.
I'm getting to it, but I want to catch up on things that were not shared.
You're never gonna make a prediction, dude.
You're looking at pretty much the only guy in the world who explained
I feel like we've done a lot of, because a lot of these things we talked about with Jim Bob already, remember? So the audience, and I believe Andrew and Jim Bob share a very similar audience. So a lot of these people have heard these statements you've made before. So we can just, for the sake of the audience, presume they already know all of these things you're going to say, and then skip forward and move
the specific prediction that you're never going to make.
I'm going to get to it, but no, I want to go over a few things that were okay. So I want to come back to the time of the pandemic. And he was trying to downplay the significance of 201 in Jesuit universities. If you look into the Jesuit universities, you'll see that a lot of them do have a strong 201 connection. Case in point, Gonzaga out here in Washington State where I live. It's named after Aloysius de Gonzaga, whose name equates to 201. You might recall that March Madness was canceled in the time of the pandemic. In the first tournament, a year after the pandemic was declared, the championship game ended up being Gonzaga versus Baylor. Now go back and look. You'll see that Elgin Baylor, who was Jesuit educated, died at 86 days before Baylor won with 86 points. He died exactly, or from his last birthday to that championship game.
Still no prediction, bro. Still no prediction.
Hey, I'm going to get to it, but
you're never going to get to it, bro.
And to understand who's doing this and the ritualism.
Just make prediction, dude.
The Butler coach also won the championship over the Jesuit University 201 days from his birthday. And what was ironic about that championship is those teams were supposed to play in Indiana, where the game was earlier that year, but it got canceled due to C-19. And if you look in history, Aloysius de Gonzaga supposedly died from the flu, which is what C-19 was originally coined as. Now, as for a specific prediction, again, Andrew, I'm going to make it about you. And I hate doing this to be mean, but there is an organic side to this code. And are you familiar with the history of cigarettes? And
No. You don't get to make a prediction forecast 20 years ahead. I want a specific prediction for this year. Give me a specific prediction for this year with a date and the people. That's it. Specific prediction this year, date, people.
41 years old right now?
Yeah.
You're 41, so it's not that far into the future. I want you to think about this prediction.
No. I want a specific prediction for this year with dates and times.
My prediction about you, and then
make it for this year. That's fine, but make it for this year. Give us. All I'm asking for is this. You can make the prediction about me even, but give me the date and give me the people who are involved and give me the specifics of what's going to happen. Go ahead. This year. Give me this year so that we can falsify it this year and prove you're not a fraud and you're totally right.
Yeah, and trust me, I'm far from a fraud. My prediction.
Prove it. You got right now. Right now, you have the floor. You can prove it in front of thousands of people. Make me look stupid. Do it.
Okay, so what I've been saying for a long time is that Trump will come back in this election, which he has, as the nation's second split-term president. For the record, you guys, split term in gematria equates to 132. Like it's been 132 years since Grover Cleveland began his second term. There's 132 rooms in the White House. For the record, United States of America equals 132, like Catholic Church, also like Roman Catholic. This country was named 132 days from the establishment of the Illuminati.
Waiting for that prediction, bro.
Hold on, I'm getting to the prediction. Grover Cleveland, in his first year in office, in his split term, he had policies that led to a significant economic collapse. I've been saying that the same thing is going to happen. There's going to be a significant economic consequence in Trump's first year, just like there was for Grover Cleveland.
That doesn't tell us anything. What is no. What is it going to be? When is it going to happen? And give me some of the people who are going to be involved. But give me the when. Give me the hang on, bro. Give me the when, but most importantly, tell us what it's going to be. What I claimed in my opening is that I could determine you were a fraud because any prediction you would make would be so vague as to be interpreted however a person wanted to. What you just said here was, I predict that there's going to be some kind of economic something bad that happens this year. So what? Tell us what it is. What is it going to be? You can't, can you? You can't.
Well,
you can't.
Hold on. I would say what's leading up to the thing is his tariff policy. Again,
what thing? What's the thing going to be? What's it going to be?
I think his tariff policy is going to lead to this collapse, and you can see what's going on right now.
What collapse? What? So the economy is going to collapse.
Hold on.
Is the economy going to collapse?
I think there will be a significant decline in the economy in this first year. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, how much?
Again, Andrew, it takes research, but
haven't you done all the research?
Valuable knowledge.
Haven't you done the research at the institute.com? What? So when you say it's not going to be a collapse, there's going to be an economic downturn, what does that mean specifically?
Again, Wealth of Nations. Are you familiar with this book?
Uh-huh.
Who wrote it?
A guy.
Who wrote it?
I don't know. Who wrote it?
And you're familiar with it?
Yeah, I've heard of the Wealth of Nations, yeah.
Who wrote it?
I don't know. Who wrote it? Okay.
What year was it published?
I have no idea.
It was published in 1776.
What does that have to do with your prediction?
Okay. If you measure from the anniversary of its publication date to the day that Trump imposed his tariffs, it was exactly 47 weeks after the anniversary.
What does that have to do with your prediction? What does that have to do with... Can you give me the specifics of what's going to happen?
Well, again...
Yeah, you can't.
In Wealth of Nations...
Yeah, I know. I don't care. I want to know what specifically is going to happen.
it'll cause consequences within the economy.
Gee, there's going to be consequences in the economy. Well, look at the big brain on Brad. There's going to be consequences in the economy. What are they going to be? What?
The loss of jobs.
How many?
Of the market.
How many?
Huh?
How many jobs are we going to lose?
You are a numbers guy.
How many jobs?
Again, these are things that can be researched.
Yeah, so you've done the research, right? How many jobs are we going to lose, bro? This year, how many?
Hey, I wouldn't be surprised at the way that. Did you just see the other day that Doge supposedly recovered 4.7 trillion?
How many jobs are we gonna lose?
Here, that these policy decisions have upwards of 47. It'll be a number with 47 in the sequence. They'll continue to put this in front.
How many jobs are we going to lose?
7 million jobs.
It's going to be okay. So it's going to be 4.7 million jobs we're going to lose.
The way they report things numerologically, especially the abuse of this number back here.
I want to make sure I got this right. It's going to be 4.7 million jobs that we're going to lose. By the way, the Jesuits use 76 books. I just want to point that out. But anyway, back to this. I just want to ask how
76.
How many? Well, wait. I don't know. The Protestant Bible is what we're supposed to be using, right? But how many jobs? How many jobs? Bro, I don't care. Don't care. How many jobs? How many jobs? How many jobs? How many are we going to lose?
About 73 though. 73.
Oh my God, dude! Just tell me how many jobs we're going to lose, please. Huh? Just tell me how many jobs we're going to lose.
Did I not just do that?
No, you didn't. So tell me specifically how many jobs are we going to lose this year?
I said a fair estimate is I could see a headline of 4.7 million.
So we're going to lose 4.7 million jobs this year. You're on record saying that, right?
Well, again, the way they work in the redundant patterns, I'm not saying that that's a 1,000,000% guarantee. I'm saying that they work numerologically.
Well, if you had to put a percentage on it, what would you say the percentage is that this is going to happen?
The larger point to understand is how they repeat history and how they.
Great. So if you had to put a percentage on it, what would you give the percentage of this?
Huh?
What percentage would you give this as being an accurate prediction that we're going to lose 4.7 million jobs this year under Trump?
I'd say that it's probable that you see headlines like that, and it'll say based on his tariff policies.